Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit Azapi here, back again. Don't worry, I'm not dead. I am actually alive. Thank God for that. I mean, for a good chunk of the time where I was away, like not uploading videos, I could have mistaken myself for being dead. Because I got this thing called the Super Cold, as well, what they were naming the whole thing, which was like sweeping the nation. Where it was basically, everything that you got with a normal cold, except it was just basically spread out for a long time, and it was something that you just couldn't shake. So it felt like a fucking eternity having that thing. That wasn't the reason for like my initial hiatus anyway, like from not uploading videos. There was like a week after I last uploaded, with I think it was the Haikyuu video. I think was the last one I uploaded. Following that week, I just wasn't in the right headspace, so I didn't record or edit or upload anything like that. And then I was planning on coming back like that following week, and then I got this super cool thing which lasted like 3 weeks. It was ridiculous. Like honestly, I've never had anything like that in my life where it lingered for so long. It was horrible. So yeah, obviously I didn't record or anything during that period. And now we're back. So it's been over a month. In some ways, it could work out as a positive, I suppose, if we're looking through like silver lining all of that. Like having some time away and then being able to come back. So like looking at it as almost like recharging the batteries, because obviously if you do something on and off for so long, it can kind of get sort of like tedious, and it can really build up on you, and it becomes harder and harder to do. So taking some time away and then coming back after recharging the batteries could work out as a positive. I feel ready. I feel ready to come back and do this. The only question mark, I guess, over this whole thing is whether or not I am sort of, if I remember how to do all of this properly. I've already done this intro like about 5 fucking times because I keep messing up because I've just been away from it for so long. It's like I'm trying to remember how to do it, how to come across without looking like an idiot. It's like it's kind of like a recall back to when I first started doing it, and like I wasn't all that great with words and everything. I mean, I'm still not. Like my vocabulary is still quite fucking awful, but we'll get back to it. Don't worry. So yes. With that out of the way, I do apologise for the long hiatus, but we are back. Don't worry, everything, like all the shows that I was previously doing, I need to finish up My Hero, Haikyuu, and all of that, and I've got obviously other shows that are still I'm in the middle of, that I will get back to. So obviously following, like basically this week coming up, all of that will be back on. Okay, so don't worry about that. But for my first video back, I did miss out on this whole like fucking Squid Game thing. And so I figured as my first video back that this is the one that I would do, so I can get back into the rhythm of things. And by the time I get back into obviously the My Hero and Haikyuu, I'm back to my usual experience again, and I know how to do things. So this is basically just like a series that everybody and their grandmas reacted to. And I thought, okay, I'll give it a go and I'll see what it's all about, because there was a lot of hype surrounding it, and it seems like something that is up my street. I like sort of like this survival aspect kind of thing that they've got going on. So basically I was told that it's kind of like children's games, and if you lose you die kind of thing. So that sounds interesting to me. And it's Korean, something that I've never seen a Korean drama, TV show, movie, I don't think anyway. I may have watched like some kind of like martial art film like years ago, but basically it's a Korean TV show on Netflix, Squid Game. So this is what we're going to be doing. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else to really talk about. I mean, we're going to be doing this with the Korean, like basically in the original and English subbed. I did put out a poll asking what they would like, and I have actually heard that the English dub was quite terrible. So we're just going to go in and react to the subs. I mean, we're used to doing that with the Japanese anime and everything like that. Anyway, so it should be fine. So yeah, I think we're just going to get straight into episode 1 and see what we get. Oh yeah, and real quick, as always, the reaction will be here on YouTube, but if for whatever reason it gets taken down for copyright in the future, I'll re-upload this as a discussion only, and a link to the reaction will be in the description below. As always, the link to the full length is in the description below as well, so if you want to watch my full-length reaction to all of these Squid Game episodes and all of the shows that I do, then, you know, the link is in the link to the full-length reactions in the description below for you to watch there as well. So yeah, without further ado, let's go.
우리 동네에선 그 노래를 오징어라고 불렀다. 이때 수비자에 밀려 선을 밟거나 밖으로 나가면 죽는다.
Yeah, so it's basically setting up the whole thing going ahead. Seems like a bit of a deadbeat, doesn't he? Oh my god, he's gonna... Right, okay. He's gonna go bet. Yeah. Typical, isn't it? Make sure you get it right. The hell, man. God, this guy is nuts. He's not exactly in a great place, is he? So, is he gonna get it this time? He got it. God, everything to do with like his daughter. The pin code. 4.5 mil. I'm surprised he even gave a tip. Oh shit. It's
얼마 있는데? 400명. 일단 이거 받으시고.
The hell? Oh my god! No way! Oh god, this guy's luck is like up and down. Oh man, no. He has to literally sign off on it. That sucks so bad. She was probably so happy that she got like that extra, you know, and then he's trying hard for his kid. Nice. God. What's gonna happen now that he's like, because he's up and down with his look, something's bound to happen.
아빠, 싸움하는 건 아빠 자유인데 맞고 다니지는 마.
Bless her.
어제 엄마랑 새아빠랑 스테이크하우스 갔었어.
Oh god, stepdad.
스테이크.
근데 난 떡볶이가 훨씬 더 맛있어. 엄마가 이런 거 불량식품이라고 못 먹게 하거든.
She's lovely. Enough. What? It's a lighter. Okay. Oh. Oh man, that is useless to her, isn't it?
야, 그럼 이거 너 더 클 때까지 아빠가 갖고 있어야겠다.
그걸로 담배는 피지 말고.
아빠 담배 끊었어.
Bullshit. You can smell it on you. But I wouldn't be surprised if that gun comes and helps him later, like where he can get out of the situation, you know.
제가 오늘 선생님에게 그 좋은 기회를 드리고자.
Oh god.
저랑 게임 한번 하시겠습니까? 선생님.
Bloody hell.
딱지치기 해보셨죠? 이기실 때마다 10만 원을 드리겠습니다.
Wait, what's the catch here?
그대로 제가 이기면 저에게 10만 원을 주시면 됩니다.
Oh god, he's gonna end up in more debt. Ah, right, okay, so you need to hit it and flip it over, that's okay. Watch this guy have some, like, insane technique, where, like, you, like, skim it underneath or some shit.
뺨 한 대 10만 원 까드립니다.
What? His face is gonna be mangled. God. I feel like the best technique would be to aim for a corner, right? Like oh god. Yeah. This guy's loving it. Nice! He got it! Worth it for all those slaps, eh? Oh my god! He went for the slap! Ugh. I can't believe he almost forgot about the money there, just to slap him back.
이런 거 며칠만 하시면 큰 돈을 벌 수 있습니다.
Alright, okay, I was wondering if this guy was...
않겠습니까?
I wonder if the reason for taking the slaps was like just to let him know like how much punishment like people are willing to take for themselves. Because obviously if they die in these games, then here's my business card. Many spots. So he's not a part of like the group that were obviously trying to get the money back from him, but they must. What I'm guessing is they, like whoever like company this this guy's a part of, probably goes and looks for people down on their luck to bring into this game.
상우 요즘 뭐 하나? 회사 잘 다녀요?
쟤는 맨날 바빠. 지금도 외국에 출장 갔다.
에이, 싸가지 없는.
아니 지금 애랑 새 남편이랑 내년에 뭐 다 미국으로 간다
Right,
하더라.
that's what I was wondering about. What the year was. They're moving. That's why. Yeah.
진짜 좋은 선물을 사줄게.
너가 아는 찾아야 할 거 아이가.
애를 어떻게 찾아?
There was clauses in there.
저 법정 안다커는 총각이 그러는데 애 아바이가 알을 키울 경제적인 그런 것만 된다고 보면은 알을 찾을 수 있다 하대.
Feels like that's all he's really got in the world, like to look forward to, you know. So that like, if he wouldn't be able to see his little girl anymore, like it would probably kill him, you know. That means something much different. That's like fuck off. Thing is, people like start dying. It's just gonna really take like, is this gonna like take like a major turn?
얼마나 걸릴까요?
Oh god, it's sent him to sleep. That's I really like this guy, you know. He's like so like, I don't know, there's something about him. 4, 5, 6. How many people are there here? That's a cool mask.
영감님,
Got an old guy in here.
뭐 하시는 거예요? 말 시키지
He's
마라.
001, so I'll look for the highest one.
아 이거 몇 가지 셌더라. 자 그러는데 숫자 세는 거 치매에 좋대.
아, 치매 걱정할 나이 어쩌려고 이런 데로 오셨어요?
내가 얼마 안 남았어. 의사가 그러는데 내 이 머릿속에 혹이 생겼대.
혹이요?
Like a tumor.
널 여기서 다 만나네. 어? 인연 눈깔 봐라. 성질은 여전하네.
In a gang or something, man. Is that the girl he ran into before? Get in there, Ji-hun. I don't know how to pronounce the guy's name like that. It's like Gi-hun or yeah. Yeah, it is.
인연이랑 무슨 관계야?
He thinks he's in on.
너는 무슨 관계신데요? 딱 얼굴 보니까 이런 애들 뒤에 숨어서 먹고 사는 양아치 같으신데.
God.
내 깡패를 사는지요. 여기 빨리 좀 나와보세요.
This guy is nuts, man.
이 자리에 오신 여러분을 진심으로 환영합니다. 여러분들은 앞으로 6일간 모두 6개의 게임에 참가하시게 됩니다.
근데 그런 가면은 왜 쓰고 있는 거죠?
진행 요원들의 얼굴과 신상은 참가자들에게 공개하지 않는 것을 원칙으로 하고 있습니다.
유인, 납치, 감금. 우리가 당신들 말을 믿어야 할 이유를 하나만 대봐.
218번 조상우, 나이 46세, 전직 기쁨증권 투자 2팀 팀장. 고객 기회지금을 무단으로 되돌려 주식 파생 상품과 선물 옵션에 투자했다가 실패. 현재 손실액 6억 5천만 원. 지금 이 자리에 계신 여러분들은 모두 감당할 수 없는 빚을 지고 서로 자발적으로 어떤 강압도 없이 이 게임에 자원하셨습니다.
It's interesting. So were they offering if anyone wanted to leave, they could?
모두에게 공정한 게임을 위해서 게임 정보는 사전에 공개할 수 없습니다. 한 게임이 끝날 때마다 돼지 점통에 상금이 적립될 겁니다.
Accumulated. Eliminated. Games could be terminated as well if majority agrees. Interesting. Well, he's in now. This is nuts. This is crazy. What on earth? God, I really want to see that guy's picture. It's gonna come up at a stupid time, I feel. This had to be like the dream of like one like multi-fucking billionaire dude or something. I mean, because look at this place. It's ridiculous. It's like tunneling like a bunch of mice like down a specific path, you know. Identity verified based on the mask? Oh fuck, yeah, I didn't even recognize the dude. This is the dude in the picture. So it's not his brother then. It's interesting how the mask was used as identity verification, because
this is the front man speaking. Preparations for the first game are complete.
I think it's What's the Time, Mr. Wolf. I think that's what we call it in the UK. I wonder how they're gonna... Go! Everyone's gonna go mad. Like, there's gotta be panic in here. Oh, that dude! Stop moving, you fucking idiot! Oh, he's moving. That's it, he's gone. You idiot! Jesus! Oh my god, he can't move! Oh my god, there's gonna be no, like... this is nuts. What the fuck, man? There had to be collateral there. I hate that just the head moves. This guy loves it. God. I just hope he doesn't forget what he's doing. You know? Alright, Sam, we're still alive.
내 생각에 저 인형이 동작 감지 장치야. 앞사람 등 뒤에 숨으면 감지되지 않아.
Nice. This guy's smart. I like him. That's a really, really smart move. I like that. It looks like she's got the idea as well. I wonder, could she like push him? That would be insane, dude. You can literally get him killed.
네 뒤통수 튀냐?
Oh. I mean, you've just fucked it there now, haven't you? Because, dude, let go of him. He did want to help. He is a caring guy, so that perfect juxtaposition in it of like this music with the atrocity happening right in front of your eyes. I think we've got some like initial main characters here who are going to make it quite far. Nice! Get there. I would sprint and fucking dive over that line. Oh. Oh god, no! Whoa! Dude! Who was that? What a badass! Dude! Look at his face. Get there! Exactly, you dive over that fucking line. These poor people, man. They didn't even die for moving, they just didn't get there. What am I looking at here? It's an island. Okay, Squid Game, episode 1. Really, really cool. I really enjoyed that pilot. Like, it was kind of like... I I mean, well, they had to set up the whole thing of Gi-hun being down on his luck. I assume that's how it is pronounced. If I'm wrong, please let me know. But yeah, so yeah, really, really interesting. I really like the way that the episode was was paced, and us actually getting to the first game and getting that done and ending directly after that. Ended off on a really, really cool note of it, obviously zooming out, showing that it's actually on an island, so they're not on the mainland, which means that, like, I'm guessing, like, whoever this guy is that is doing this, whoever's at the top, I mean, as of right now, it does look like it's the guy called the front man, who obviously wears that sort of like rigid kind of mask thing. I'm guessing whoever that guy is obviously has some money behind him and probably owns the island itself, in which case, I mean, I don't know, like, obviously we don't know where the island is, so we don't know what, like, jurisdiction it falls under and, like, what laws. I mean, you would assume that it's probably close to Korea, but that's mad. That's crazy. So, yeah, I mean, I guess we start at the very beginning. So, yeah, so we got Gi-hun, main guy, who I really, really enjoy. It's funny because, like, it's kind of like the characters themselves, like, seem like really expressive, and obviously Gi-hun, like, at the forefront of that. Like, I really, really enjoy him because he's very sort of like, he's kind of like, he's like back and he's forth, and he's doing like one thing and then doing another, kind of like, I don't know, like, he's so like erratic, it feels like, he's like erratic, eccentric, like over the top, but like it seems as what, like, at his core he's a very caring person, because I mean we saw that multiple times, and actually when they were kind of happening, especially like in the sort of like in the first half of the episode, like it surprised me because I didn't know really what I was expecting, like coming into this, but like the idea was that at the very beginning you see that he's kind of like a deadbeat, and living with his grandma is what I gathered from that, and the person who was at the stall that was like later in the episode was must have been Sang-woo's mother, right? So they were friends, is what they are. Then they weren't brothers like I anticipated, like I thought, but yeah. So he's a deadbeat. He's down on his luck. Like, something great would happen to him, and then something immediately bad, and it would all just go away immediately after. It is like, it is a weird. I don't know if this is the kind of feeling or tone that the whole show is going to be like. I feel like just because this is like the first episode, that maybe like now, like when we get into the second episode, because now they know the stakes and everything, that Gi-hun's not going to be as like this kind of totally like over the top, like eccentric kind of guy. Like, I feel like, just judging by the way that his face was at the end, and rightfully so considering what he just witnessed, that like he kind of went into himself a bit, like, and now he's like, shit, this isn't good. So it's going to be interesting to see if he's more reserved. I feel like he will be, but yeah, I mean, we saw that obviously, like, at the beginning, in like the first half of it, whatever. So he's in debt. He's got creditors after him. He's obviously spending this money that he does get on betting and in order to sort of just make it big, and then But we saw that he is caring, because obviously when he ran out, when the creditors were chasing after him, he ran that girl who then he ended up losing his money off of, but because he's such a caring person that like people can take advantage of him, and I think that'll possibly come into the the show, like going ahead in the future episodes and whatnot. But but we'll see in regards to that, and makes me wonder, like, the guy who is 199, if he saved him as a way of like, right now, you know, you will do something for me kind of thing, because I just wonder why what would be the reason. I mean, obviously, as far as we know, we don't know who that guy is, so, you know, but I assume it's not going to be like somebody that he knows. But if it is, I don't know, we'll find out. But there has to be some reason as to why the guy saved him. If it was out with the goodness of his heart, then fantastic, I like him. But we don't know. So yeah, we know that the guy, Gi-hun, is caring. He's caring father as well. So yeah, he ended up getting his daughter, who's, you know, it's just very cute, and it's funny because she keeps like, it's like this kind of relationship where like she understands that he's a bit of a, you know what I mean, like he's a bit of a, like, an idiot, and like she kind of like tells him what and calls him out on stuff, which I really find, like, I really enjoy. But like the idea that like she seems very mature in the fact that like she knows what's going on and everything, and she obviously cares for her father, and she can obviously see that he's trying to do well by her. So you know, she's very lovely. And he ended up getting a present from like one of the crane machines that ended up being a lighter gun. God, it's just so funny. It's another one of those instances where it was like, yes, this is amazing, you know what I mean? He's going over the top and he's overjoyed, and then it's just something that is totally, you know, shit all over him again. So yeah, and then we did learn. So they did actually bring it up in this episode. I didn't know whether they were, so I didn't, like, obviously writing it down. Was the whole sort of comment that was given about, you know, next year and whatever, and she wanted to say something but didn't. One of the first things that did actually pop into my head was like, well, she's not going to be around for the next year, then why would that be? She obviously mentioned the stepdad and everything, but it turns out that they are planning anyway on moving to the US because the stepfather has a job over there or something, where he needs to relocate over there. So that's obviously going to be the case. That obviously ties into the whole thing where Gi-hun needs some kind of money and proof of funds as well, in order for this like lawyer that the grandma knows. I don't know. Is it Gi-hun's grandma or is it the mother? I don't know. But she says that she knows somebody that lives above them or something like that, who's a lawyer, who, you know, if you can provide the evidence of your, you know, your financial means, then that means that custody can be, you know, decided between them, and that means that really, you know, without his consent, she can't be taken over to the US. So everything that he's obviously doing is for his girl, and obviously I talked about it in the reaction. I don't know if it'll be in the cut 10-minute the 10-minute reaction that's on YouTube, but I did say, like, it seems as though his daughter is the only real thing that he has in his life that is like some kind of like happiness, you know what I mean? Like, it's a spark for him, like the only thing that he truly really cares about. And if that was to not be in his life anymore, that, you know, that would be really bad for him. I feel like he wouldn't have anything else, and then God knows what would happen from there. But so everything he's doing is obviously for his daughter. Now, because he's obviously the main character, it feels like he's going to be at the end. I mean, I assume that's what's going to be, you know what I mean? We're going to get what can be described as like as much of a happy ending as you can get out of this kind of whole thing. I mean, this experience is obviously going to change him. But like, there's some questions hanging over this of like, well, there's a winner at the end, and they state, like, I mean, was it actually like stated cold hard fact that there's one winner and that's it? Because if that is the case, like, it makes me feel like everyone else is dying and only one's getting out of here, which sucks, because I mean, there's characters in here that like I really like straight up off the bat. Like, I really like Sang-woo. I mean, we've gotten like next to nothing of him, but I like his kind of just like that kind of like smart thinking, you know. like hiding behind someone. Like he seems like he's like really got his head on his shoulders. And we're going to find out, obviously, in regards to how he's in debt and how everything panned out with him, you know, in episodes to come. You know, but I feel like he's like really cool, calm, and collected, which I really like. So, yeah, he's someone that I really, really admire for how little screen time we've actually seen of him on the screen. 199, yeah, we talked about him as well, because we literally only got one little look at exactly what he did, and the one actually did was actually save Gi-hun, so that was, you know, massive, huge, but again, we don't know his like motivations behind that. We had the old man, so 001, who's God, he's an interesting figure. There's something about like him that is, because like he's so different to everyone else in the fact of he's an old man, but he's completely like given into this idea that he wants to go ahead with this whole thing, because like by his own admission, you know, he's not getting any younger and he doesn't have much time left, and he's got a, you know, a brain tumor and everything like that. And I think that's something that is going to end up working in his favor anyway, because he's already resigned to the fact that he's going to die, but he's having like almost like this like life experience is what he's taking it as, like this fun time that he's gonna, you know. And I did say, like, I feel like he's gonna make it far, because like with him there's nothing to lose, you know. I guess that's actually a theme with every single person in there, is that there is nothing really to lose. I mean, for Gi-hun there is, because if he doesn't get it, then his daughter's is gone. You know, and you know, you can probably assume that with how many people there are and were there, that there are others that are doing this for, you know, for other reasons as well, other than just get money. But like strictly for the old man, because like death isn't an issue for him, because he's already lived his life, he's already on the way out because of his brain tumor and everything and the age that he is, that he's the only one in this situation that isn't affected really by, like, you know, while he's alive, affected by death, whereas every other participant is like young. You know, so it's like that kind of thing of it's not going to be an issue for him. The only, like I said midway through the game, that the only thing that would really have killed him there is memory. Like if his memory was to go at one point, then like he would forget why he's there, and then, you know, and that would be the only thing I would think. But I don't know. It seems as though he might have a hold on it. He says that, like, you know, his doctor said that, you know, as long as he keeps counting or whatever, it holds back the dementia or whatever. So, you know, but there was one moment where he did, like, specifically. It was when Gi-hun came and interrupted him, right? That he forgot because he stopped counting. So I guess as long as, like, something doesn't come to interrupt the old man, like, I think he's going to be fine. And the fact is, like, he's 001 is interesting, like, because, I mean, think about it. Like, every single person was, like, you know, they came to them strictly because, like, they're all in debt and everything, and they're in this kind of hardship. But the old man, like, what would be, I don't know, what would be the reasoning why they would track down him? I mean, that's a bit weird, isn't it? Now, the thing is that because he just, because he sticks out, doesn't he? He's an odd one, and he's kind of like someone that I am fixated on. Like, there's a reason why he's there that doesn't line up with the rest of them, you know. With him being number one, and with him being such an old man, I doubt he's like heavily in debt. And if he is, right, okay, fair enough. But I, you know, with the way that the guy in the suit, like, came and handled Gi-hun, he wasn't, like, Gi-hun wasn't aware of exactly what he was signing up for with the card and ringing up and everything like that. But the way that, like, this old guy, I don't know, like, the way he's talking about it, like, you know, he's not getting, you know, he's pretty much on the way out, like, almost like he knows what he's up against here. And also, how long has this been going on for? Is this the first one? Because it's making me assume that, like, there's something behind the old guy that makes me think that, like, almost he knew what this whole thing was. and if it's his first sort of like rodeo in the whole thing, you know. But then there's another thing that I'm sort of interested with the front man dude with the mask. So there was a mask identity verification thing, right? Which was to it wasn't elevator, was it? It was because he basically verified like the start of the game or something like that, didn't he? But that was based on the mask. So it makes me think: is the mask interchangeable? Like, is whoever wins at the top the next person that becomes the front man? I don't know, you know, like, because why would that identity itself be? Surely, if the person in charge is the front man, right? Like, he is the guy who owns the whole thing, and he's behind the whole thing. Why would he have the mask as the identity and not your actual face? Because then anyone who has the mask can also come in and do that, you know? Unless there's like unless they actually like the idea of people trying different ways to get around the game, you know? Like, because it's a very survival based like you know, like game thing that they're going, like, I mean, you can go back to movies like this before. I mean, most recent, like, you know, Hunger Games, that kind of style of movie, or Battle Royale, the Japanese one. It's very like similar in that kind of vein, and the fact that it's even on an island as well is much like in regards to that you could imagine that the guy who owns the whole thing, like owns this whole like Squid Game thing, is like maybe he admires the whole aspect of survival of the fittest kind of thing, and survival to, you know, the will to go on and win, that maybe he wants people to think outside of the box and do whatever they can to survive. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting, and I'm sure we'll find out more as the series goes on. So yeah, so there was 456 competitors. Interestingly, that is the number that they ended with. So he was the last one to come into the game to sign up to it. The one dude said that there's only so many places left. Right now, you would assume like 456. Like why that number? Is that's the peak? Like that's the top. That's only the amount that they allow. It seems like a kind of like an odd number to, you know, to go with. There's like some questions like that where it's, you know, like I had questions like I talked about in the reaction, the like, were they actually allowing people to back out if they wanted? I guess that's the way, part of the reason why they obviously want people who are down, like, you know, dead on their luck and you know, in debt and everything like that, is because it's harder for them to back out. Like, they're kind of like, well, this is the one chance. And the thing is that they don't know they don't know what they're walking into. That's the problem, you know. And once they've signed the thing, like, that's it, they're in there. So there's nothing they can really do. You know, I'm sure if the whole thing was stated beforehand, by the way, if you lose the game, you die. Right, do you want to back out now? I'm sure people would have backed out. But then, would they have allowed that? I almost feel like that there's something behind the whole thing where they wouldn't anyway. You know, they want to give the illusion of, like, you have choice, but really you don't. I also talked about the idea of, like, they're kind of like mice, you know what I mean? Like, when they were moving in, like, that line in that crazy fucking that crazy room. Like, they're just being, like, kind of, you know, in single file, like, that, like their lives mean nothing. And obviously that is obviously a thing, considering the fact that they're literally just killing them off like they're nothing anyway. So yeah, I would like, I hope we do get at the like to the end of this, and the guy behind the whole thing, like, we do get his motivations for this. Whether it's at the end and, like, Gi-hun's like the last surviving guy, he's won the whole thing, and he gets to ask, like talk to the dude. We'll see though. So yeah, I mean, in total, Gi-hun owes 160 million. We don't know how much the winnings are at the end. We didn't even see how much the assume that's going to be the next episode, because they said that after the first game that they would fill that thing with cash, or with money or whatever, basically, however much you're going to get for that one game. But they said that it's like that accumulates over the games, so they never know exactly how much they're going to get. Like, if, for example, if they threw in, you know, 1 million, because here's the thing, I'll get up what's the Korean currency? Hold on, pounds to Korean won. That's what it is. Okay, so one pound in UK money is 1,600, pretty much rounded up. Interesting. So let's say they I don't know what, 1 million maybe, like yeah. So let's say they put in 1 million into the sort of see-through piggy bank thing, because that's what it looked like. If they put in 1 million in there, that's only £631. Some people may be thinking, okay, after the second game, because we're getting further in the competition, the more money goes in. But for all we know, like, they could, in the second game, they could literally just put, like, I don't know, like 100 Korean won in there, and then, like, you know what I mean? If they're going to be adding money after every game, so that, you know what I mean, like, it could literally get to the point where it gets less and less after every game, and then you find at the end, like, the winnings were, like, not even worth this whole thing to begin with. I can actually see that being the case, you know. I can see that being the case. But then if that is the case, that is fucked, because then that means if Gi-hun does get to the end, like, it's still not, it might not be enough for him as evidence for his financial worth to keep his daughter, you know. So, but I could see that being like something that I could see them doing that. But that's just what makes it interesting, is the idea that, you know, they clearly just made a point to say that it's after the first game, we'll pop some money in there, and then after every game they'll put, you know, they'll put more in. But it's like you just don't know how much they're going to put in after every game. So God, what else? Yeah, so 6 games, 6 days. So yeah, I mean, after this day, I guess they get obviously time to go over the whole thing, wake up next day, next game, and yeah. So I think there's like 8 episodes as well. So it's not going to be like one game every episode, I'd imagine. I imagine there's going to be one time where it like splits off between 2, but we'll see. Or like maybe like an episode midway through where we can just like, where we can take stock of everything that's fucking happened. And I don't know, maybe there could be some twists and turns, which would be interesting, but we'll see. Yeah, so there was some rules. I only wrote down the one that I found interesting, because I slightly missed the first one, because there was only 3. The second one was like, you know, if you refuse to participate, you'll be eliminated. And I think like what I caught, like in sort of like my periphery vision, for the first one was something that didn't, like, it wasn't like a mad rule that you need to remember kind of thing. It felt like pretty straightforward, whatever the hell it was. It was like something similar, akin to 2, I think. But the third one is the one that I found interesting, which was that games can be terminated if majority agrees. So that pretty much goes out the window in terms of the first game, because no one knows what the hell they're getting in for. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't even know that they would get, like, what game it was until they actually got into the arena, you know? But it'll be interesting to see if anyone actually remembers that rule, because, but I mean, how can they do that? Because then they could literally just protest the games and just, what, like, permanently stall it? But then I guess they never make it any progress either, so maybe they're just forced into having to do it anyway, because, so maybe it's just like a nothing rule that basically means nothing, because because I'm assuming that the whole thing of it, games can be terminated if majority agrees. I'm assuming that is in relation to the participants. Like the contestants can, like, that's like, it's their majority rule if they want to, you know, if they can terminate the game. Because it was written on that form where they had to sign it, so it has to be for them. Like, that has to be a rule that they can implement. Like, they can stop it. But then it's a case of, like, you know, is it a case of like, well, they're told the game, and then it's like, oh well, I don't really like that. But it might be a thing of like, some people are good at it, some are not. So you might have some people like vying to actually know we're doing this because it's a game that I'm good at. But then you have somebody else basically saying, I'm not good at that, so trying to like get it terminated, and then another game comes in. That's a possibility, because then it obviously dramatizes the whole like situation and pits people against each other, you know, which is obviously going to happen. I mean, you have the likes of 101, who's the sort of like what I assume is like a gang leader that, like, you know, brought through this young girl who's number 67. That's kind of like what I got from the whole thing anyway. And then obviously she went out on her own, and that guy didn't like it. I mean, here's the thing, like, that whole thing's obviously going to pick up. She had a chance there to kill him, you know? Like, she had a chance. I thought that's what she was going for, but then she kind of just threw him down. I mean, if that was the way you were going to kill him, I don't know. Maybe it's because if she was to push him from behind, that, yeah, he would move, but there could be a possibility of like the sensors picking up that she moved as well. But I feel like as long as you're right behind her, like, you only have to nudge him forward a bit. Like, that's enough movement for it to pick up. I mean, you saw that like there was little movements that it could pick up. Like, it wasn't, you didn't have to be like going mad waving your arms about. Like, even just like a slight little nudge forward like that would have done it, and then she wouldn't have had any problem with him anymore. I mean, that's the thing, is like, I assume that she was trying to get him killed by throwing him down on the ground so that he wouldn't be able to make it in the time allocated. And now the fact that he actually managed to get there means that like that's obviously going to come to a head again, isn't it? Like, between them two, like, he's obviously going to be pissed about that. But she could have ended it right there and then with an easy just push in the back. But I guess the idea is that she didn't know. She didn't know like the ins and outs of what it was. I think that's why Sang-woo is actually the smart one. He's the one that figured out that it's to do with the like sort of like sensors in the doll's eyes that was picking up the movement, and that's obviously, you know. But I guess it's easy to assume that that number 67, the girl, knew that as well, just because she was behind him. But I assume that she didn't, because otherwise I feel like she would have just nudged him to get him killed and not threw him to the ground so he would miss out on the timer. So yeah. God, what else? I think that's pretty much it. I mean, that's pretty much all I've got. Like I said, it's gonna be interesting to see if the tone remains the same. Like, even like getting in like, you know, when people start dying and stuff, they have that obvious kind of like trope you have, like you see like throughout movies where like something horrendous is going on, like this atrocity is occurring, like, and you're witnessing it to the soundtrack of like fucking, you know what I mean, like this very gleeful and happy like, you know, music score, which, you know, you can see it across a lot of different like movies and TV shows and everything where that kind of stuff has happened before. But it's kind of different with it, because in other media, when you see that, the tone's very much like, it is actually dark, you know. So the score actually like really like heightens it, and it does in Squid Game as well. But what I mean is, like, there's an overtone of this, at least with this episode anyway, that is like it's very funny. You know what I mean? Like, it's very. I don't know if it's intentional, because like I said, I haven't watched any like Korean dramas or TV shows, anything like that. I don't know, like, if this is like the way like Korean actors actually are just across the board. Like, I don't know if that's like their whole thing. But it seemed as though there was an overtone of like it was very comedic at times. Like, the ones where it's obviously like on the nose is like the first guy who died, where he obviously, like, you know, take a picture and he does a stupid fucking does a stupid face, and I knew as soon as that, like, that was so obvious that like that was gonna come to fucking, it was gonna come up as like it's something so stupid mixed with something so serious, because obviously he was the one that died, right? Like, the first one that died, that was the one where like it hit everyone. Shit, that's where it's supposed to get serious. And then immediately it's like it's showing this guy's stupid face that he pulled. It does have this overtone that is very like comedic, and it's bright, and it's, which I think is what actually makes it like very interesting, like visually, and kind of there's like this stimulus that you get from like watching it that is very it's very childlike. So I guess it must be that way inclined, because with it dealing with like child games, like children games, that it's very childlike, that the tone is meant to be that way inclined. But it would be interesting if, like, over the course of the episodes, that like you see maybe the degradation of the people, like the participants, which gives you that more like it seems to get like less and less childlike and more like kind of, you know what I mean, like helpless and villainous and evil and dark, and maybe, but we'll see. The interesting thing is, like, the very first opening, like the sort of like the opening to the show is like you have this kid who's, you know, with his friends, and he's talking about this thing called Squid Game. Now, at first, because obviously like your inkling is to be like, right, well, that child is Gi Hun when he was a child, but I'm wondering, it feels like it's got to be more in line with whoever the frontman guy is, or whoever the guy who obviously built this whole thing and made it up. I would assume that like that's him that made it. We don't know like what the whole thing's called, do we? Because I guess the thing that they are involved in, like Gi Hun and all the participants, I don't think it's called the Squid Game, right? I don't know, but it does involve the same kind of like shapes. I saw that like like a logo kind of thing where it's like circle, triangle, square, which I think were involved in like that kind of the children engraved in the opening of the show. Like obviously in the Squid Game, it's like, well, you're on this side, you're on that side, and whatever, and you have to either push the guys like out if they're on the attacking team, or if the defending team is to, you know, stop the attacking from getting to the head, right? I feel like it must be like whoever that kid was in the beginning must be the guy who's overseeing all of this, the guy who made the whole thing, because I feel like he's just basically doing his childhood game just on a very like mad scale. God, where like if you die, yeah, you definitely die. You actually do die. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see that going forward. But yeah, I mean, that's all I got for episode 1. But I thoroughly enjoyed that. I really did enjoy that. So yeah, I can't wait to get into the next one. I think I'm going to get into the next one right now, actually. So what I'll do is with episode 1, obviously that is out on YouTube right now. But if you want to get access to episode 2 right away, you can do by going over to my Patreon and becoming an early access tier patron. I'll have episode 2 up there as well. So that, you know, you can basically right now go and watch my reaction to episode 2, you know, because I want to get these out, and yeah, it's going to be like one a week, but obviously I'll be putting them on early access like each week. So obviously next week when episode 2 comes out for the public, episode 3 will be out on early access, right? So yeah, I can't wait to get an episode 2. This is really, really fun. But anyway, yeah, that is all I've got. So thank you for watching. In the description below, I have links to certain things. One of them is the Discord. You can get yourself over there if you wish. And I also have a Patreon page, like I was just saying there. Has a bunch of different tiers and rewards there, like early access. $5 a month gives you access to shows a week early. There is the full-length tier, which gives you access to all the shows I do, my full-length reaction to all of them. So that obviously includes Squid Game. So if you want to my full reaction to any of these episodes, then that is the one for you. And there's also the exclusive tier, which gives you access to full-length movie reactions and everything like that. Currently, I've reacted to the My Hero movies and the Fate Stay Night, the Heaven's Feel, movies as well. And there's there's other ones on there as well. I'll be reacting to more movies coming up. But anyway, yeah, that's all I've got. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.